Betrayal. What do you do? What do you do after you've been betrayed? Whether it's a friendship, a relationship, maybe even a business fallout. I'm Mario DeLeone. Welcome to Voices of Victory podcast, and we're just going to unpack a simple idea. Today it's going to be simple. We're going to keep it really simple. We're going to start at ground level and take it to 10,000 feet. So the big question is, how do you approach that? How do you approach being betrayed? How do we treat betrayal in terms of moving on to the next relationship or the next friendship? How do we deal with our next relationship based on the previous betrayal? Because the previous betrayal can stunt your growth or prevent you from moving forward. It can make you become jaded. The very first thing is, don't blame the door for the key that didn't fit. And that's basically saying, don't blame the new relationship for the old relationship that wasn't a good fit and didn't work out. One betrayal that you experience doesn't mean that the whole concept of friendship, trust, relationships, and love is broken. It doesn't mean that. It means that you yourself, or that particular previous dynamic, in other words, that dynamic that you had in the past, that interaction that you had in the past, or that boundary, it wasn't honored. And you know what? A new person that you're engaging with might have an entirely different point of view. They might have an entirely different key and a different approach to the door that you're trying to open altogether. That's how we could think about it. We have a tendency to blame the next person for the previous person because we've become jaded in our experience. Trust isn't given, it is built, and you're going to have to build it with that next person. You don't have to decide to trust. You don't have to do that. You simply let them show you their side in small, repeatable ways. Because it's you give to get. Trust is an exchange. And trust becomes a pattern. It's a pattern that you have to engage in, that you have to observe over time. And you have to make sure that you're observing it without any bias. It's not a switch that you just flip, like, oh, I just have to trust again. I have to turn it on and off. No, it starts small. Trust starts very small. And the next key idea is, don't punish the new for what the old has done. Don't punish the new for the wounds of the old. And people have a tendency to actually do that. It's tempting to armor up emotionally. It's tempting to armor up preemptively. Some people have been really hurt. Some people even become very avoidant because they were hurt. But if you guard your heart with walls rather than a gate, and you have to understand that boundaries are that gate. Boundaries are a gate, not a wall, is basically what I'm trying to say. Is if you armor up as a wall, then you block the very people who would indeed never hurt you to begin with. You don't know if that new person is going to or not. And that's what happens is we take our old relationships and we create a mental framework or a template and we apply that to the new relationships. Another thing is we have to refuse to let betrayal make you betray yourself, betray who you are, or betray your development. You are learning, you are growing, shaping, and changing. And every relationship is like a workout machine. And sometimes the worst aftermath of being betrayed is when you start to slow down. And sometimes when we start to distrust our own judgment. But you know what? Healing means taking it slow. It means reclaiming your ability to start over. Your ability to observe. Your ability to sense. Your ability to choose again, all over again. To start over from scratch. You're double wiser. Most people don't get that. From the previous relationship, there was an insight that was in there somewhere. And you're double wiser. You're no longer your wounded self. You now can move on and start over. So the ultimate, finally, we can get down to the ultimate final takeaway, if you will, is I want you to think of betrayal not as a reason to shut down. Don't do that. It's not a reason to shut down, but it is a clarifier. It's that something has been revealed. Or someone you were was meant to outgrow that old person and generate new trust and in a new direction. It is part of your growth. You just don't see it. You're double wiser. It's hindsight is 20/20, as they say, right? And it all starts with trusting yourself to begin again and trusting yourself to recover and trusting yourself to choose differently and still believe in people without having a jaded perspective, without carrying the old template to the new relationship, without being naive. So that's all I'm going to say. Keep in mind, people act from their own framework and reality. So from the old relationship, that person who betrayed you, they act from their framework and their reality. The new person may never act that way. They may not have the same framework. They may not have the same reality. And if you're subconsciously, accidentally looking for that, then you need to question who you're engaging with and how you're engaging with them.